I'm all right, thank you. I'm okay.
Good.
I'm like you,
Yeah.
looking forward to my vacation.
I know. It's so exciting to think that we were just chatting, guys. We were just saying that, like, God, it feels so weird to be so tired and so ready for a little vacation. But gosh, I need it. Like, this whole thing, even though there was some downtime, I feel like I worked harder than ever. Like, just working on education stuff or working in my business or on my business. I don't know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to just relax and really unplug. I think that's what I need to do is unplug. I think that's kind of the whole thing for me.
So is Zoom a friend now or a foe? Tell me. What?
That's a really great question. I'm going to say friend
Okay.
because, you know, one thing, and I think Jeff, when I talked to Jeff Shaw a couple weeks ago, one of the things I love, there were so many things I loved about that conversation. He was so amazing. And congratulations to Jeff if he tunes into this at some point, because he just finished his other book. It's ready to come out.
Yes.
So, or sending it off to the publisher. But, he talked about this frictionless life and how when he was working outside of the city, how it was so important because of his clients. And, Jamie and I have been talking about this for a long time, that it's harder and harder on our clients to come in for all the appointments, the consultation and then the session and then the sale. It's just a lot in picking up. So creating a more environmentally aware, meaning it's more, it's a lot of, it takes a lot on our environment, on our world, to be in your car and doing, running around, to take the stress. So we're really incorporating a lot of Zoom into our business, which, Ronan, I never would have thought that was going to be something we would do, because it was so important to us to have that personal connection, that I never thought this would work. But it's, we've adapted this as being so incredibly personal because it's all we've had for a few months. So we're really making it work. And some of our clients are loving to be able to jump on a Zoom and do our sales session or a consultation, and we're doing it exactly like we would in person. We're looking at everything online, and we're showing the room views and showing them the products. And we've even come up with this awesome box, this little box that we're sending out. And it's got like a leather sample and canvas samples and cookies. And so when they sit down to do the Zoom session, the sales session, they're still getting our little treats and they can touch our products, So we're going to make Zoom our friend. It's going to be like a good friend, a pal.
So when we've got a vaccine and we've defeated this silent enemy, do you think you'll still do Zoom with some clients? Will you give them the
I think we
choice?
will. I think we will. Some of our clients have said, oh God, this is what would happen a lot. And maybe people can relate. This is what could happen a lot. People would be like running in on literally 3 wheels, and they're picking the kids up and they're trying to get to ballet or baseball or this, and they're squeezing us in between all these appointments, and they're stressed, which makes me stressed because then I'm stressed for them. And then they have to rush out, and maybe we didn't complete the sale, or maybe it was rushed because everybody is busy. But I've been really, really cool with, all right, you know what? After dinner, bath time done. I've done a lot of these at like 8 o'clock at night, which I don't normally work that late, but you know what? If they're like, you know what, the kids are in bed and I can have a glass of wine and we can sit back and do it, I'm like, let's do it, And so we were trying it out, but my sales averages have not suffered one bit. As a matter of fact, there have been 2 online Zoom sales that we did over the past few weeks that I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked that I didn't even expect. These were people that were, they were from a ClickFunnels generator, and I just did, we've done everything and I expected it to be around my average, but it was like 4 times my average. So, I think we'll offer it. There's going to still be those people that want to come, but we're going to offer it. That's what we're going to do. So yeah. I'm going to check one more time here. I think our friend, I was supposed to talk to Dr. Colvin today, and I think something must have come up because I've not heard from her. And I'm sad because I was really looking forward to it. But I did put Tomayia's information in the chat. So if you guys are here, please feel free to check her out. She has an amazing conference and education sites. And she just finished up or recently finished up her PhD. And she is a Renaissance woman. She's absolutely amazing. So I was excited to chat with her, but I'm sure something came up. So check her out, guys. She is a force to be reckoned with. And I'm sorry that we missed each other today. And she may pop in. We'll see what happens.
And we hope that everything's okay with her.
Yes, absolutely. Because I know she's got kiddos and a busy life. So I'm sure something happened, and I'm disappointed to miss her, but I get to talk to you. So that's okay. That's a great thing. We never get to talk.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's amazing. Like we meet every Thursday, and because it shuts off straight afterwards, right? So it goes. But I follow you on your podcast with Kira, and I try and tune in as many times. You had that earlier today than normal, right?
We did. So we are all so busy because we're going on vacation. I go on holiday. So we were all booked up for the afternoon, and I had this, and I was like, well, let's do it before. So yeah, we did it earlier today, and it was great. And we talked about Ronan. Did you catch? Did you catch it today?
Caught half of it. I caught the last half.
I thought about you because we talked about doing good, and I know you and I've talked, and I know you and Damien McGillicuddy and so many photographers are, working on your big passion project or your charity project with the Frontline Heroes and, Photographers Without Frontiers. Is that what it is?
That's it.
And Kira and I were talking about those type of projects, and both of us have a couple going on, but I was like, oh, I need to tell Ronan about this. I was just kind of scrolling through and trying to scroll past all the things that make my blood boil on social media. And I ran across this little friend of mine in San Antonio posted this article about these doctors at Vanderbilt University, right in Nashville, in the hospital, Nashville. And they had these buttons made. Somebody took pictures of them smiling, and they made just these simple buttons. Around here in the States, a lot of us do them for volume, like just our kids, like baseball picture, whatever. And it was them smiling, and they did it because they have to wear the masks all the time, and the children and the elderly patients never get to see them smile. And that's a really heartbreaking thing and scary. And I went, oh, I love this. And then I thought, wait a minute, this is genius. And I know for a fact that a little over 30% of my client base is in the medical field, either pharmacy, doctors, nurses, whatever. And I was like, this is going to be amazing. And I've already reached out. I have a call after this. I had 2 calls yesterday. I have 2 today and tomorrow. And we're offering it for some of the facilities around here. I have a retirement facility that wants it. The great news is that, as you know, the PR opportunity will be amazing, right? And that's great because you can't buy, a little tiny micro business like us, we can't buy that type of coverage. But the good that it'll do, and the smiles, and maybe the joy it'll bring, and bringing what we do, our photography, and making something good out of it in this COVID world. You know what I mean? Like it all came together to me the other night. Like I was sitting in bed, it's like 10 o'clock at night, and we're on such like 6-hour, 5-hour time difference, but I'm always awake and you're always awake, and we must never sleep. But I almost messaged you, and I was like, isn't this brilliant? And but you know me also having the business hat on, I'm like, and I can like get a great email list from this. And then I'll do an entire drip campaign, and I'll do a gift card at the end. And then I'll do a reminder, and then they'll just go into my, my email, my newsletter email list, or my regular email list. But it'll be a great generator for emails, which is great, but it'll just be so good. So I was excited. That's why I talked about that on the podcast today, because Kira's doing something with minority business owners and is finding a lot of great success and fulfillment. You know what I mean? Like, it's so exciting to be able to, what we do, make it something so more, than I love taking your picture and selling you pictures. Don't get me wrong, but to take what we do and for it to come together in this space we're all living in right now, where we just feel helpless. Like I can't donate but so much, and I can't do but so much, but to take what we do every day and make it a part of a little bit of a relief for somebody. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So that's what we talked about today.
And it also gives you, and you're not one that doesn't have confidence, right? But a lot of photographers, we had a meeting today in Photography Without Frontiers. There's a photographer there, and she's had 28 donations made. So she's 28 sessions booked in. But she said she's never been busier than she ever was. And that this gave her the confidence to get going again. So she said
Oh, I
when she
love
was
that.
in COVID, that she was, you know, when she was going to get started and she was feeling down and everything else. And just the reaction she got from this was so immense that, and she said the clients are not only making the donation, which is what it was designed for the charity, but they're going on then and they're actually purchasing. They're purchasing product. And she said she's had some of her highest sales she's ever had. And that's not why she did it.
Wow.
That's not why we did it.
No,
But that's
right.
been the end result of it.
No, and that's, and boy, and you know, and I think you would agree that that's when it all comes together, is when you are doing something like that, that is bringing good to your community, you know, and, but then people are loving it and then they're buying, and now, and then they're telling their neighbor and they're telling their family, and then for it to let that person shift, get a better mindset, get that thrive mindset going, that, you know, get out of that fixed mindset we often find ourselves in, which is, I'm not good enough. I'm not there yet. I can't charge this. Nobody will buy, you know, we all have that brain trash that we deal with. But boy, when it all comes together and it's for something so great, like what you guys are doing, or these little side projects, it's just exciting. I mean, it was, you know, almost 10 o'clock at night and I posted it and I already had 16 people. And when I woke up the next morning, I had like 32 DMs from people saying, yeah, let's do this. So now I'm trying to get all the phone calls in and get it all scheduled so I can get it knocked out. Or I could have an associate photographer photograph it. Like we don't, you know what I mean? Like it could be Jesse could go and do it, but I'm just excited. Like, and I just think it's so incredibly symbolic that it's our photography that might help somebody be a little less afraid because they're in the hospital, or, you know what I mean? Like, or be in a situation where it's scary, you know? So it's exciting. I'm excited about it. And I love this stuff. When charity and business can come together and everybody can win, that's the best. That's the
Absolutely.
absolute best. Absolute best.
Because
So
you've done this before, right, with your dog campaign, and that when
mhm.
up you were on TV. I think I was over there at the time you were on
Yeah,
TV.
you were. That's right.
And
Yeah. We've done
so
that a
how
couple
big
times. A
a
book project, you know, kind of like what Steve Saporito talks about. And I didn't know that he talked about it because I've been doing it for 10 years or so. But yeah, that's another thing. And it does build confidence, because if you're not comfortable yet asking for the business or asking for the sale or demanding the sale, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, I am very confident that I can sit in the sales room and say, this is what I would do with what I created. Now they can take it or leave it, but I am very confident telling what I would do. But if you're not, it's easy to ask a favor or ask to help somebody else. So if you need that bridge to help you become a more confident artist, photographer, business owner, entrepreneur, whatever, salesperson, so be it. There's all kinds of opportunities out there, all kinds of opportunities.
So I know you're an avid reader, so share with us what you're reading at the moment.
What I'm reading?
Yeah.
I am reading. So I finished Fix This Next, Mike Michalowicz's new book. I actually finished that a while ago. I'm reading a couple things. So I've been very much on a journey. This is hopefully what I was going to be able to talk to Tomayia a little bit about today, but I'm definitely on a journey to learn and unlearn, you know, with Black Lives Matter and with so much unrest here, and especially me being in Richmond, Virginia in the South. I lived within my life, which is now I understand my privilege and I get it. So Ibram Kendi's book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, and then Austin Channing Brown, like her book, White Fragility. Like I've been reading a lot about that. Just going to the experts, buying their books, buying their courses, and learning and unlearning. So that's been really important, because I feel like when I first started on that journey, I have to tell you, it was really hard, because I've spent my whole life feeling like I love I'm not these things. And learning that, well, that's not exactly the point. The point is that you don't even, you need to think about it, and you need to unlearn. You know, there were things that I was doing and saying and living that I didn't even realize. And when I realized it, I was so down on myself. And, you know, the great thing is we have kids, right? And my kids were like, Mom, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, you're trying, you know, I'm 51 years old. you're trying, and that's enough. And then I had great, amazing people that reached out, and here she comes. Here comes Tomayia. Perfect timing.
Hi,
Hi.
Tomayia.
How are you? That's okay.
Okay,
I
there's
was
no problem.
perfect timing. I was just saying, you're so incredibly busy. I don't even know how you do it all. So no worries on our end. Seriously.
I rolled over and I was like, Alexa, what time is it?
No, it's totally fine.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I set like 3 alarms to be here on time and my phone died.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I apologize.
No, it was perfect. And it was fun because we don't ever get a chance to chat. So I was getting to catch up with Ronan, and we were talking about being charitable, and he was asking me what I was reading, and I was talking to him about my journey to learn and unlearn, which was very much, started by a conversation I had with Tomayia, over a year ago. So it was perfect timing for you to pop up right then. So couldn't have been better.
Woo, okay.
So I'm
no
going
worries.
to leave the conversation to you guys now, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm looking
Thanks,
forward.
Ronan. He'll pop back in at the end, but this will be great. So we can just chat. Well, welcome. And no, seriously, this is so laid back. It's not an issue at all. It really isn't. It isn't at all. I'm just glad everything's okay. I was a little bit worried. I was like, I hope everything's okay. So
yeah, you're right.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, how are you?
Phew, honey, I was running. I was like, oh, shoot.
No, it's not a problem. I was like, I don't know if Tomayia's going to join us or not, but I have all of your education sites up. I'd mentioned that you also have a conference every year called the Cookout, and I don't think I had that website, but I'm sure if they go to tomayiacolvin.com, they can get information on all that stuff. So how's things going with COVID? Because you have a studio, you have an amazing and robust education platform and teaching, presence in our industry and beyond. Kids too. Kids at home. Yeah, 2 kiddos. And you run a conference, and we're all in COVID, and you're in Texas. Hey, how's it going?
What's so interesting is that I have stopped photographing people right now. I know a lot of my colleagues are still obviously photographing clients right now. But once Texas or once Harris County, where I live, became a hot spot, like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago at this point, I just actually added a memo on my website and let my clients know that, hey, I'm still photographing. It's just going to be a while, until things balance back out. And so that's kind of where I am right now. I'm focusing like on the marketing part of business right now, that, we really most of the time don't have a time to do.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
So, very, very true.
Yeah, so I'm doing a lot of back end stuff right now, instead of actually being out. I would love to go outside and love to photograph clients, but my daughter and I see my grandmother a lot. And so for that reason, I have just stopped photographing clients for a while.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, have you thought about any like awesome marketing tips or marketing things that you're really excited to launch when it is safe to go back into the studio?
Yeah. And
that you want to share with us?
So one of the things that obviously I do the high school senior.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. And so, I'm really thinking about now, and I was actually up to like 2 a.m. this morning, just really thinking about like how this will look for the class of 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because obviously, the class of 2020 really got, handed a really unfair hand.
Yeah.
Not sure how that will look for the class of 2021. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that at least now we can kind of get ahead of the curve a bit and to kind of really start marketing in advance, right?
Yeah.
And so instead of like, because obviously we all got caught off guard with this in March. And so, like for me, that was like my busiest season of of the year, you know, from like March to June.
Oh, so that's when you do the majority of your seniors, is that? Okay, got it.
I do a majority of my seniors March through June. Like that's my super, super busy season. So I completely missed an entire season of senior portraits. And so this time I'm really thinking like, okay, let's get ahead of the ball this time, ahead of the curve, and let's start advertising obviously much earlier so that in the event we get shut down again, you know, maybe we can do like 1 session a month or 2 sessions a month so that the seniors at least get a chance to have senior photos.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. We're kind of in the same space. So here, our senior portrait, most seniors get it done in the summer before senior year. So our busiest time is supposed to be now. They don't know when they're going back to school. Like, you know, they're not even remotely in that headspace. So I've been really struggling with it too, and thinking if we get shut down again, we're not going to be doing them early spring either. So trying to just plant the seed, a lot of seed planting these days, plant the seeds that, you know, think about it, you know, we're going to really space them out. Let's be outdoors, trying to do it as safe as possible. But it's just, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible because I know everything is possible, but it's like in this world that none of us understand, and God knows there's not one news source out there that I think knows either, but that's my personal opinion. But I don't know. I mean, we're just kind of doing the best we can, but I found that people are more gracious. Like we've had to reschedule or do things, and everybody understands because everybody else is in the same boat, you know?
Because no one, hold on, my little son.
Sure.
Because no one is, like, it's not like I'm saying like I'm canceling because I don't want to photograph you or anything like that. It's just that, you know, I found, like you said, like a lot of people have a lot of compassion right now, especially like you said, like with the reschedules, you know, and some people, you know, obviously have canceled like their whole weddings, you know, like something you've been planning like for years.
Sure.
And so, you know, so right now I think the best that we can do is just, you know, like you said, plant the seeds, start the harvest.
Right.
And eventually it will grow. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't necessarily know when the harvest is coming.
This is true.
Yeah, but it may be like instead of us like expecting like this big harvest like we usually get, you know, maybe God's time right now is just picking up a thing here or there, you know, just picking up, you know, pick up a cucumber here, pick up a tomato there, pick up, you know, pick up something here, you know, and eventually you will have a full harvest. It's just not the harvest that you necessarily expected at first.
Yeah. Do you think that, Tomayia, do you think that we're going to be, well, right now, let's just talk about right now. Do you think right now that it's making us, especially us as micro business owners, really tiny little small entrepreneur, you know, business owners, do you think it's making us more patient and understanding? Are you feeling that? Like I'm feeling that about a lot of my friends, you know what I mean? We've gone from, you know, being like, yeah, oh, okay, you know,
whatever. You know, where we're taking the time now. You know, it's kind of like one of those things, like the things that you're so used to, you don't like really cherish it until it's taken away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if we're being completely honest, a lot of people were at the point of burnout.
Yep.
And did not see any form of relief or any form of I'm going to slow down or I'm going to stop. People marriages were on the, you know, on the risky side, or people weren't seeing families or their children or spending time. Because, you know, as micro business owners, you know, we are the face of our business. And so, you know, when we're, you know, we are the ones most of the time doing the work or seeing the clients and doing the ordering sessions and stuff. So I think that us now having a chance to sit down, like people have rekindled relationships, and have really gotten a chance, like photography is important, but you've gotten a chance to do other things with your life, learn how to cook or, you know, spend time with your family. You know, you start to honor all the things that you didn't get a chance to do, like you get a chance to do all the time, but you took it for granted.
Oh, I agree. I couldn't agree more. And it got to the point where, and I have to admit, like I was definitely somebody else, like wait, what do you mean I'm not going to be completely scheduled and booked and busy and I'm not trapped? What do you mean? And then now it's like, I'm so okay with that. Like, I need a couple of days off. I need this. Like, and I've gotten incredibly selfish about it. Honestly.
Yeah. And so now I'm wondering, like, okay, what are we gonna do when if life happens, like where we're back open and we're like, wait, no, we want to slow down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I'm with you. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I'm thinking, well, I'm 50, so I don't have to work. I mean, I, for the first time, thought about slowing down. And honestly, wasn't thinking about it.
No, we don't slow down. We're not a slow down group of people. We're on the go. We're traveling.
Yes.
We are, we check into a different city every week. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're on the go, we're speaking, we're teaching, we're doing photo shoots, we're doing all these things, whatever. And then just like, oh my goodness, hello.
No, you are so right about that. I mean, I'm good with it. I never thought I would say that. I really didn't.
Like I'm okay now. Like even with the, even with like the homeschooling and different things like that, we've never I've considered homeschooling, obviously, because I have like the credentials to do so.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, well, kids, that's fine. We'll figure it out, and you can just school from home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to keep your kids home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was talking. My kids are one's graduated. Well, we had one college graduation and one grad school graduation that didn't happen in April. Yeah. And but so we're beyond the homeschooling. But the good thing is that my husband and I were talking about it. I was like, if we had little ones now or younger ones or school age kids, we would have done the same thing. And honestly, that's a scary thought to mostly my children, probably. But I think that's what we would have chosen to do. But it's a hard decision either way. I mean, no judgment here.
It's a very hard decision. And, I have to say that I'm very grateful to be in a place where, I can homeschool the kids if need be, or if I need to spend a little bit of time, or we have the flexibility now to kind of shuffle our days a little bit. So if we need to do some things in the morning with the kids and then kind of adjust our work time to 4 or 5 in the afternoon, or starting at 1 to 5 or whatever, then we can actually do that. And I consider that a huge blessing, because everybody does not have that flexibility in their life where they can kind of flip and kind of massage things around in life the way that the way that I can. So I'm very blessed and grateful for that.
Oh, I'm with you there, and I'm in the same boat. And that, honestly, Tomayia, and maybe you feel the same way, but that's why I set my life up the way I did, is because I wanted to have that flexibility and be able to take the time and do things, and because I could, and I'm really grateful that I was able to do that. But and
that was the thing that really pushed me away from working like for someone else, is the flexibility to go and be room mom and to go on the field trips and chaperone, even when the kids didn't want you to be there anymore.
Yeah.
Like, no, go home. But that was, or if they got sick or anything like that was the thing that pushed me to micro business and to, and to owning my own business, so that I could be that mom for them. So, what's so interesting is that for the last, I guess, 5 or 6 years, I've been that mom to them. So they don't know
any different.
Yeah.
So education is obviously incredibly important to you. I mean, you've got a list of credentials a mile long. But how do you, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, as someone, who is, obviously loves school or gone through a lot of school, done a lot of stuff. How do you feel about the fact that, the homeschooling or all of this happening? How do you feel like as parents we can counteract this social issue that's coming up? And what I mean by that is, worrying about kids is not getting that social aspect, which is so important of education. I mean, I'm sure you understand that, but do you have any advice for parents out there?
You know, what was so interesting is that I was actually talking to a friend yesterday and just talking about, like, because for my kids, like, sports and theater and all of those things are very big. And I don't think that it's necessarily that they love sports or they love theater, it's that they love to hang out with their friends.
Yes.
And so now it's trying to figure out ways in which they can still get the social aspect of school. And, you know, obviously my son's a gamer, and so he's on the PlayStation or on the computer.
Right.
So he's still talking to
Yeah.
You know,
the way he likes to do it. That's the kind of like, that's their language, right? That's how they enjoy it.
Talk to each other now. And so, you know, for my daughter, I'm wondering, like, for her social part, like how is that going to look for them? And so I think that us still making time, and you know, they're big, so they don't want play dates, like, obviously
Right.
they don't want play dates, like, but even if we did like a teen version or something version, like, I know a friend of mine, like, her daughter and her friends, like, the moms get together and they have like movie night, and so they all rent the same movie and then put the girls in front of the Zoom.
Yeah.
And, you know, the moms at home, you know, like, popcorn. And so they all watch the movie at the same time. So they're still having like their own.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
And then one week they had it where they actually like made gifts for each other and did like push drop-offs.
Oh, cute. Yeah.
So, you know, I think there are still ways. We just have to be creative about making sure that our kids have their time.
No, I love that. And you know, and it's forcing us to be creative, which has been fun in some respects, because, you know, when a birthday happens or a celebration happens and you have to just get creative, and it's been really cool to watch. I mean, so many people doing so many cool things, drive-bys and this and that and all that stuff. So I caught you on a webinar, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, and I think it was with Easton Reynolds, who I had the pleasure to interview a couple weeks ago. But you guys were talking about, I know, maybe it was you were talking, I think you was your Facebook Live. Sorry, it all runs together. But I'd love for you to talk about this if you don't mind, and I'm not trying to impose, but, you know, there is obviously, we have COVID and we have an election year, and we have, you know, we have George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, we have Black Lives Matter, and we have a lot going on, and we're all trying to negotiate this world. And I saw this happening, and I think I saw you mention it, and I'd love for you to share your thoughts on it. But all of a sudden I've noticed a lot of my friends or local businesses here popping up and doing what feels like all of a sudden they're forcing themselves to show how diverse they are. And I feel like it looks so incredibly fake, and I don't even know how else to describe it. You know, newsflash, I'm white. So I'm like, you know, we're all trying to negotiate these things. I'm really fortunate that we've, for 26 years, had a very pretty diverse business. Like, I didn't have to reach. I was just like, no, that's it today. So it was an easy fit for me. And I think because of being in the wedding industry and always having such diverse vendors, it was just easy. It was an easy fit. But what are your thoughts for maybe people out there that are trying to do better or learn or unlearn or whatever you want to call it, and be more diverse but feel authentic?
Yeah, and so I think that, so for your first point that you mentioned, that people are now just kind of showing up and being, or just showing the diversity that they've had in their portfolio for years. And so that was to your first point. And so obviously, you know, and you and I talk about this a lot, is that when it comes out the oven the first time, it's not going to be right.
Nope, it's the first pancake.
Yeah, it's like it's shit. You know, it's terrible.
It is shit.
You know, it's burned. Yeah, it's just horrible. You know, and so, you know, until you look at it and you look online, and you're like, that was their first pancake.
Yeah,
it didn't come out right. You know what I'm saying? You know. And it's like, even when your kids, like, when they start cooking, like, they start cooking with like the best intentions, right? Like, they start cooking like, oh man, this is going to be like a 5-star gourmet meal. and the next thing you know, your entire kitchen is full of smoke.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it's kind of the same idea, is that when people go in that are trying to do their best, they go into the kitchen and they turn on the stove, and they're hoping that they're going to come out with their right intentions, right?
Yes.
And you look around and we're like, oh shit, the kitchen's on smoke. I mean
Yeah.
because that didn't come out right.
Right.
But they tried.
Mm-hmm.
They walked into the kitchen, because that took courage.
Right.
To turn on the stove and to actually try to do something different.
Yeah.
And the first time is not going to be right. And so, we have to allow people the space and the grace to keep walking in the kitchen, and giving them recipes for success, giving them like, hey, this time, don't turn the oven so high. Like, just don't broil on the first one.
Simmer down a little bit.
Yeah. Put that sucker on warm. Hold on a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Yeah, like allow people to help guide you in that learning process, in that cooking process, giving you recipes, going out, doing some reading, and then eventually you'll come out with like a perfect pancake or a perfect recipe or a better version of the first thing that you were trying to do. But it's just going to take some time. And even every now and again, you're still going to have smoke in your kitchen. There are going to be times where it's not going to be perfect, like impact over intention, like what you thought and versus the impact that it really had on people is not always the same. And so you just still have to keep going in the kitchen, still keep showing up, but still learning and giving yourself like, okay, I'm going to get better at this.
Mm-hmm.
But it may be some smoke, and it may be some coughing, and it may be bad. It might be bad, but you have to risk it in order for you to get better.
Yeah. Put yourself out there. I think what a lot of times happens, and I could be wrong, and I mean a lot of times, but what I see is I'll hear somebody say, well, I mean, I tried. I'm like, okay, but it didn't work. That doesn't mean you quit. Like, you got to, I love what you said. You got to keep showing up, got to keep going in the kitchen. And you also have to understand that not everybody's going to like what you cook. And you just have to be okay with that, because not everybody's going to like what you cook, and if you want everybody to like you, then, I mean, you're not Nutella. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? You're not guacamole. Not everybody's going to like you. And everybody likes guacamole, I'm sure. But, this whole idea of needing everybody to love and like and approve of you, if you want to,
it's going to be hard. And, you have to seek out, like, am I doing this recipe for the people that are, like, am I trying to like enter the best food contest, or am I actually trying to actually do better in my growth? And that's where you have to say, okay, if I'm really authentically trying to do better in my growth, like personally, then you have to go in and understand that there are going to be some times where you may have to step back and, analyze some things, and you may get your feelings hurt, or it may be an uncomfortable day. But, the deal is that you keep showing up.
Yeah, you may call your friends crying.
Yeah, it's possible.
Done that. But you have to be willing to hear it. You have to be willing to hear where you messed up. I mean, that's one of the hardest things, I think, if we've been in business for a while, or even not, but I mean, for me, that was one of the things I had to just get over. Like, I'm going to mess up, and I need to be okay with that. And Christine Brady just said, oh, I love that expression, give people the space and grace. Thank you, she said. But I do love that. Like, give yourself that too. Give yourself the space and grace that you're going to mess up. But if you surround yourself with people who see you trying and want you to succeed, they'll tell you what you did wrong, but they'll also be there to tell you when you did it right. And that's a community. That's a true community of people that we could help each other and support each other. Because criticism isn't always bad. I mean, this could be an amazing learning thing.
I mean, if today that, or, you know, last week was the first time that you've ever sought out diversity in your business, or, you know, or posted your diverse clients, then, you know, obviously there's some conversations that need to have, you know, about your baking process in business, period. But we'll get you there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll get you there. You know, you were trying, you were trying to do better, and it was just horrible, but we'll get it.
So speaking of that, you know, I know that people can check you out online, but I know you have some education resources. Talk a little bit about those that people can maybe take advantage of, because they're incredibly valuable resources that people can purchase. I'll say it, but it's amazing opportunity for people to learn. Tell us a little bit about what you offer.
Yeah, so I have obviously the education platform, Tomayia Colvin Education, and it has a variety of classes from business to marketing to editing to all of that. And then in addition to that, in June, I hosted anti-racism courses for photographers. And so that allowed us to answer those questions about how do I add more diversity in my portfolio without it looking so yucky or feeling so yucky, and just really doing a lot of hard work. Because I think that, like, in our business, like, we want it to be successful and we want to do all these things, but I think the first part that we miss is that, like, starting at home, starting in our own kitchen and cleaning up there. Yeah.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So those are all available on the links that we've provided. So you guys check those out if you're interested. And did I hear that you also have one, because we get a big group of people that for associations or for affiliates or for, is that correct?
Yeah. And so I have courses available for those of us that are also serving photographers as well. So it may be, or your organization or your association may be in a space where, you know, your speaker lineup has lacked diversity for a long time. And now you're looking like, oh man, we need to fix our recipe and we really don't know how. And so for those spaces, I do offer, you know, the one-on-one consulting, but there also is a course available for them as well, on how to incorporate, you know, Black voices and, you know, photographers without it looking like what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, you know, just sticking one Black speaker in is not going to be the solution. Right. But how do we change it?
Would you agree? And this is something that, you know, a group that I serve with has been really working hard on. And it is just something that I started on this journey personally several years ago, but really, you know, something that's been it's been a more prominent conversation, you know, lately. But, you know, sometimes, you know, we look at groups and we think, well, I'm looking at my group and I don't have diversity in my group. And then, you know, so it's not my fault. And I'm like, well, okay, but let's look at this. Look at your group, look at your leadership, look at your assembly. I'm 50. I'm not going to go up in a club that's got a bunch of 21, 22, 25, at this point, 30-year-old, you know, kids in it. I'm not going to go there because, you know what? I don't see people like me.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So can you speak from that space? Because, you know, it's hard to walk in a room anyway. And then to walk in a room where you're like, am I the only one here? You know what I mean? Like, it's an uncomfortable thing.
Yeah. And so obviously for me, we've had this conversation that I've had to walk in a lot of rooms alone, as being like the Black speaker, but I'm so grateful that right now, I don't have to be that one, that much anymore. Like, it may be a few times, you know, obviously when we're in the beginning stages of working with an organization or a company, you know, it may be that, but the idea that it won't be like that for long.
Yeah.
You know, obviously if we start making those changes, and that's the point that I would show up, is so that I don't have to be the only one there anymore. And so I think kind of walking into those spaces obviously can be very daunting, can be very lonely. But if you walk in, or if you have the opportunity to walk in or are invited to walk in, you know, use that space as a time to really work with the organization and go in with a goal in mind that, you know, this will not be like this in a year or 6 months or so. Yeah. So you just have to go in with a heart of understanding. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot of emotional labor that you're going to have to endure. But I often think of it as I'm enduring this so that my grandchildren don't have to.
I love that. A heart of understanding. That's another little aha moment there, guys. A heart of understanding, because that is it's emotional labor that you've done. You've done a lot of. I mean, you've done a lot of it. You and I have talked about this, and I've cried over it and I think it's because I come from that place that I say this a lot, but you don't know what you don't know. And I was never smacked upside the head with it. And I'll be very honest, guys. I'll be very transparent. Tomayia smacked me upside the head with it a little over a year ago, but it was a blessing. I'm grateful for Tomayia. I've shared this with Tomayia, so this isn't news to her. And I'm not kissing her butt. Nothing to gain here. We're just two girls having a chat. But it was a good thing, because I don't care how woke you think you are or how whatever, there's always more you can do. And definitely that is, if nothing else, this pandemic, that's what I've spent a lot of time doing. But I appreciate you for doing the labor, because it's been a great thing for me. It's not about me, but it's about me right now. And it's been a great thing for me, but I'm also for the groups that I'm with and for my own home and my business. And, you know, I see it changing, and that's exciting. Do you feel like do you see it changing? I mean, you've been on this journey a lot longer than me, because, you know, you're Black and I'm not. So, I mean, do you see it changing? I mean, maybe not enough, but.
You know, I've seen gradual change over obviously amount of time. But, you know, as my dad said, you know, sometimes God sends the perfect storm. And I think that the events that have led up until now, where we were in a place where we didn't have anything else to do besides watch TV or watch the news, and there was no way to kind of hide the fact that something was going wrong in the world. And so people could no longer kind of ignore, you know, the injustice that was happening. And so the good thing now is that companies and corporations are seeing where, you know, hey, we haven't been perfect, or there is some growth that we can do there. And so I think that it's been a great process. But I'm really excited to really see, like, we always want like long-term growth, not just a social media square or a social media post. I think what's most important right now is that, and I see it happening, that there are actionable steps that are being taken like right now. And what I know to be true right now is that not everybody's recipe or not everybody's process works exactly the same. So there are some companies that we are looking like, where the hell are you right now?
Yep.
Right? Like, what the hell? Like, what the hell is taking you so long to figure this out? But I had to remember, like, okay, maybe they didn't go in the oven. I mean, they walked into their kitchen and they had to go buy an oven. You know what I'm saying? Like, they
didn't just need like the product, they needed the oven. But that's okay. They're getting the oven.
Okay. They're gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, damn.
Why didn't they have an oven? All right.
What is taking you so long? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying.
And you're like, oh, it's been 2 months. Like, you can't figure this out yet. And then you realize, they didn't have a stove. They didn't have
kitchen.
Recipe. Did your house even have a kitchen? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so we have to think about it. So, you know, where some of us just kind of went in the kitchen and we're like, okay, let's, you know,
turn it on.
But it was horrible, but okay. But then you're looking at the other group like, what the hell is taking you so long? And then you realize, wait, their house didn't even have the kitchen.
Girl, yes.
And so, oh, okay. So it's taking them a while because one, they had to go install a new kitchen in their place. Because, you know, like they didn't even have diversity included at all. So they don't even have the kitchen in their house. So it's like, okay, so they had to go get the kitchen. Then they had to, somebody had to figure out, okay, what type of stove, what type of, I mean, all these things that the other people just kind of had sitting there and were like, okay, we'll turn it on. Like, we'll turn up the knob. They didn't have a stove.
Yeah. That is such a great way to, somebody just said, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Love it. Thank you guys for making this, the humor out of the truth. And sometimes you do, as sad as it is, and as many, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, as heartbreaking as so much of this has been for me, it doesn't hold a candle to the fact that we're even having this discussion. I mean, if really and truly, all laughter and all of this stuff aside, that sucks. But we are. That's the way it is. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think they're going to get there. So even the people that didn't have the kitchen at first, they're going to get there. You know, like I feel very confident that they're going to get there. It's just that it's not going to be within 60 days. They didn't have the tools to start.
Right.
So somebody has to go in and say, excuse me, hello, your house still doesn't have a kitchen. You need to do some fixing in your house, man. And so then we have to go in and we have to do some things there. But I think if the foundation of heart is there and they want to do the right thing and they are open to listening, then we can go in and we can reconstruct some things so that their change happens. But, you know, even like when you're building a home and you're doing these things, like obviously, you know, as home buyers, we're like, okay, the house is going to be ready in 60 days, knowing damn well everybody who buys a house knows that your house is never ready in 60 days, like ever. And so it's always like you're at the 90 or the 120 or the plumbing messed up and we have to go in, we have to do all these things. We have to go get an inspection. So it may take 6 months for them to get going.
Yeah.
But they're going to get there.
They're going to get there.
They're going to get there. It's just, you just look at it.
Takes a little extra time, but I love the fact that what you said, and it's so important. And, you know, I think that's one of the biggest things that I've realized I needed to do more of is if I noticed they didn't have a kitchen, to say, hey, I don't know if you know this, but you know, the kitchen, are we going to get a kitchen? Or are we not going to, if we're not going to get a kitchen, I'm going to go somewhere else that has a kitchen. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's a decision you have to make, you know?
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, guys, I think that if you want more Tomayia, you check out her education site, her Facebook page, follow her. She's always doing cool lives and dropping some really great information on us. And congratulations, Sony's newest ambassador, right?
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Super exciting. Speaking of like getting in the kitchen and cooking, that's an amazing group of ambassadors. We actually have, well, I don't know what they call it, but Monica Sigmund is here in Virginia, not far from me. And she's a Sony Alpha. They all have different, it's all different names. I can't keep it all straight. I'm not. I think y'all are awesome, but that's fantastic. But I can't thank you enough for being here and just sharing, you know, from the heart and giving us some great information and for being so patient with me and all my learning that I'm trying to do. Yeah, I think Brennan will probably pop back on maybe. Yeah, here he comes.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hey, good. Was that fun or what? I told you.
It was a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Tomayia Colvin. There's a couple of questions on Facebook. So Mary, fellow board member George, he says you guys have made him really hungry with all the talk.
George Joel, yes. Hey George, thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Well, he does have a question. He wants to know, he doesn't do seniors, but he's saying, are they not booking now or is that all off now?
You know, as a parent, I wouldn't be booking now.
Right. We have had some in Virginia. The only ones we've had have been outdoor sessions, and we're not, you know what I mean? So that's how we've been handling it. So that's been our thing. We normally would have photographed 60 or 70 by now, and it's a handful, you know, and so that's where we are in Virginia, George. I don't know about North Carolina and what your senior season is there, but it's just going to be a slower process. I think Tomayia is right. It's going to happen when it happens, and it's going to happen because you're still going to get senior portraits. It's just going to be
absolutely. I mean, people are still obviously going to get senior portraits. It's just a matter of when they're going to get senior portraits.
Yeah.
And with us talking about making sure our harvest is right, I think that if we just keep planting those seeds, then they will come. It's just a matter of when they will come. Hey, Matthew, there you are. I've missed you.
Matt Hodgman, yeah.
Yes. Hey, friend, I missed you.
I got to see him yesterday on another call.
Oh, I thought you got to see him in person. I was going to say hi.
No, girl, I've not seen anybody in person but my own family, and I love them, but I could use to see some other people.
Oh, I was like,
no.
Tomayia, Davey Dave has another question for you. So he says the course that you have, the course help versus just reaching out to Black presenters and adding them to your lineup. He wants to know, what else does the course deal with for people?
Oh, wait, let me go back to the group so I can read it. Hold on.
So he's probably talking about from an affiliate point of view, Tomayia.
Yeah, I'll read it exactly what he says. So Dave, how does the course help versus just reaching out to Black presenters and adding them to your lineup? Question mark.
Right. Okay. So just adding Black photographers or Black speakers to your lineup isn't solving anything. Nothing. The only thing you're doing is just adding pieces to the recipe, but you didn't go in the oven to start the fire. You're not doing the authentic hard work. The only thing you're doing is just going in and for the presenters that you may invite, it may feel very, very unauthentic and very tokenizing for you just all of a sudden to call and ask people to add Black speakers to your speaker lineup. Because the thing is that we've known that you haven't had Black speakers on your lineup. We've known that. So for you to make that call today to say, hey, I need some Black speakers on my lineup, Mary will tell you that my answer will often be no. And it will be no. And it will be no until I actually see you go in the kitchen or build a kitchen, or you start doing the hard work that's needed. Then I will come. Then I'll come over and we can cook in the kitchen together. But I will not come to your house if there is no kitchen that exists, because that is a lot of labor for me to endure, for me trying to teach you how to, just understanding, like, why don't you have a kitchen at all? And so now you're just now adding Black speakers, and it's gonna feel yucky because you're not doing it with the right intention and the right heart. So when you start to not invite just Black speakers, but start having Black speakers on your board and on your leadership team, then your organization and your association grows organically. Yeah. And it won't be you just having to invite Black speakers to, like, put a check mark. It'll be that you'll notice a change in your membership, right? Yep. You'll have you'll have those conversations on your board or in your board meetings, and then your organization grows organically, and you'll start to add these different voices to your organization, to your association. But the quick and dirty answer to just adding some Black speakers, like, really fast, that's not the hard work that goes into it. It's just a quick and easy fix, and that's not what we want. We want long-term. And so long-term is going to start with you adding people, on your board, on your membership committee, changing some of the rules that are maybe holding people out of those positions. Yeah, so that's when I think you'll start to see that change, but not adding Black speakers just out of the high and like, hey, yeah, this is it.
Yeah, it's got to be more than just a box you're checking. I love that, Tomayia. It has to come from within, and that's when it just becomes normal. It just becomes part of the process.
Right, and it's not just when we see you saying, oh, I'm just gonna go add some Black speakers, that tells me you haven't done the hard work yet. And the hard work is gonna start at home. And so, I will say no. Just straight up, nope, not coming.
So hopefully that has helped, Davey, and it's answered your question. So check out the website and have a look at the course, and
do the hard work.
Do the hard work. And don't ask for free. It's all, you know, that's another thing I learned really quickly too. So lots of great information, guys. And so just so you know, this is my last webinar for the summer. I'm going to be taking some time off, and I was so happy to end with Dr. Colvin. She's been on my list and I've been bugging her, and this has been perfect. But this has been such a journey for me, and I just want to thank you, Tomayia, for being here, and thank you for being a part of my journey in my old age as I continue to learn and grow. And I will look forward to the day that you say yes to me again. And I know we will one day stand beside each other somewhere and both be teaching and sharing at the same event.
You're getting closer to her, yes. Like you're in the kitchen right now, and it's not smoke. So you know,
I'm cooking as fast as I can cook.
Yeah. You know, so I think we'll get there. I feel confident that we'll be in the kitchen soon.
I do
together.
too.
Yeah.
I agree. I can't wait. I look forward to it. Thank you for getting up, Sleeping Beauty, and joining us. I appreciate it. And stay well and enjoy all the great things that are happening for you right now, and all your hard work watching it continue to pay off for a long, long time.
Thank you. And
thank you, Tomayia. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ronan. Enjoy your holiday, and hugs to the Ryle family and my Irish family. And everybody travel safe and be well.
Bye-bye.
And Mary, thank you so much as well for all of these sessions you've done on the Think Tank Thursday, and you've had amazing guests, no more than we've had tonight. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right. Love you guys.
See you on the Think Tank in a couple of weeks' time when we're all back.
That's right. We'll be back.
Bye for
now. Bye, guys.